Alright, so in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to import teams through CSV files, and this is actually my recommended way to create teams or import teams. In the previous tutorial I showed you how to create teams manually with the on-screen interface here. But if you're running, let's say, more serious leagues where you have, let's say, 50 plus or even 100 players, sometimes it's very time consuming to enter each player manually. So my recommended way is to import teams through a very convenient feature called importing teams through CSV files. Alright, so with that said, let's get started. To do this, let's press the top right settings icon there and press on Teams. And here you'll see a button called Import CSV. So tap on that, and another convenient thing here is we have built-in templates, so you don't have to start from scratch. So to see this template or CSV template, click on or tap on See Example CSV. Alright, and you can email yourself the CSV template. And again, you only have to do this one time. Let's say if this is your first time working with these CSV files, then this is how you can receive the template to build off of, or you can send this template to, let's say, teams. And this is what I recommend, is send the template to all the teams, tell them to fill out their team name, their team email, their roster, send you back the CSV file, and then you can import all the teams in after all the teams have filled it in for you. So let's email ourselves the template so that we can see what it looks like. Alright, so I'm going to enter in an email address here for myself. Alright, so after you've emailed yourself the template, then go to your email and let's open up that email, and here are the templates for the team CSV files. Alright, so we have a simple template and an advanced template. So let's look at the simple template first. So click on, if you're using Gmail, conveniently you can open this up in Google Sheets right away. Or let's say if you have Excel, then you can open up this file in Excel. But let's click Edit with Google Sheets here, and we can open it right away in Google Sheets. So here it is. It just looks like a spreadsheet. Pretty much CSV files stands for comma separated file. So, but if you can open those files in, again, Google Sheets or Excel. And here is the CSV file, and a very important note here is that you need to follow this format very strictly in order to be able to import the teams successfully into the app. So let's look at the format here. The first row here is just labeling the columns for the information that you're going to fill in. Okay, so the first row is not very important, but it tells you what information you need to fill out. For example, the first column here is the team email address. Second column here is your team name, your home location, your division name, and then finally your color, team color. You can import it here as well using hexadecimal code. I'll tell you what that means in a second if you don't know. So the second row here is where you actually fill in that information. Again, very important is that you follow this format. Second row needs to be that team information. Okay, if you put this team information in, let's say, the third row, it's not going to work. So make sure you put it in the second row here. So again, first column here will be the email address of your team. Again, these email addresses are not stored on a server or shared in any way. The importance of this email address is that we uniquely identify this team. So for example, if there are two teams named Sharks in the same league, or let's say in the future league, and you're using the BT Basketball Stats application, then the email address is a way to distinguish this Sharks team from another Sharks team. Okay, but if you don't want to put in a real email address, you can put in, let's say, sharks@example.com. All right, I recommend example.com if you don't want to put in real email addresses here. Second column here is the name of the team, so Sharks. Home location, you could put in a home location if you want, or leave it empty. Division, for let's say the simple case here, we can leave it empty. And color here is hexadecimal color format. So if you don't know what that means, then you can go on, let's say, Google. All right, close some of these tabs here. Close this tab. So go onto Google and search for hexadecimal color picker. All right, so here you can pick a color, any color. So let's say blue, some kind of a dark blue here. Then it's going to give you the hexadecimal code here. All right, and then you can copy that hexadecimal code into this field here. Okay, column E. All right, column E, put in the hexadecimal code there, put a pound sign in front of it, or is that, yeah, the pound sign in front of it, and that is your color field. All right, again, on the second row here is where we put in our team information. And third row is the column labels that you're going to enter for your player names. Again, this row is just for information on the types of things you're going to be putting in the following rows. Okay, and from the fourth row and on are the player information. Okay, so the first column here is the email address of the player. Again, we don't store these email addresses on a server. They're just for uniquely identifying the player. You can again put in, let's say, I wouldn't say fake email addresses, but if you don't want to put in real email addresses, you can put in a unique name followed by @example.com. But I recommend putting in actual email addresses, because if you're going to use the BT Basketball Stats application for the long term, then this email address is going to tie those stats to that player, and in the long run, that can keep a nice history of all the player stats through, let's say, this league, through the many seasons of that league, and maybe even other leagues the same player plays in. Okay, so first column here is the player email address, followed by their first name, last name, their player number, okay, their position. All right, so PF is power forward, SG is shooting guard, PG is point guard, C is for center, F is just for generic forward. I don't have it here, but let's say just a G by itself is just for a generic guard. All right, so you have to follow that specific format there for the position to be imported properly. Next column here, put a asterisk or star if they are a starter. Okay, again, the format is very important. If you just put, let's say, yes here, the program is not going to understand it. All right, so put in asterisk or star if they're a starter. For 5-on-5, we have 5 starters. Okay, if you're doing 3-on-3, then you can put 3 starters here. All right, next column here is the player height, and you can enter in, let's say, feet and inches if you want in this format, or if you're international and you're doing, let's say, centimeters or meters, the program also understands, let's say, 180 say space cm centimeters, or you could do 1.8 m for meters, and it understands that as well. All right, but make sure if you're doing the metric system, stay all metric. If you're doing feet and inches, all right, then just stay consistent, all right, for minimal issues. All right, so let's put in this player's height. I forgot what they were. Let's just undo it. Oh, 7 foot. All right, next field here is the player's weight in pounds. Again, if you're international and you want to do kilograms, you could do, let's say, 80 kilograms. All right, but make sure you're consistent with all kilograms here. But let's say we're in the US here and we want to use pounds. We got some pretty tall and heavy players here in this example. All right, next field here is date of birth. All right, it's going to be month first, day, then year. I know that internationally sometimes they like to put the day first and then the month, but here just make sure that you put the month, the day, and then the year. All right, and finally, last field here is their hometown. This is optional, but it's fun to see if you're looking at player profiles where they're from. Okay, so there you go. So that's how you enter in players following that format. Make sure everything is in the proper column. For example, if you put the weight in the G column instead of the H column, then you're gonna get some weird results. So just make sure you follow this format as shown here. But if you email yourself the template as you saw, as we did, then you have the format, and if you follow it carefully, it's hard to mess up. All right, so you can enter in as many players as you want. Here we have 12 players. All right, so you can enter more in after. Okay, so that's how we're going to import a team into the BT Basketball Stats application using this, it's called the CSV file. All right, and once you're happy, just save. All right, so in Google Sheets, we're going to do here, we want to make sure that we share it, or export it. Let's see here, let's look here, download it as a CSV file. Okay, that's very important. If you download it as an Excel file or any of these other formats and you try to import it into the program, it's not going to let you do it. All right, so make sure you download it after you edit it, or let's say when you send this template to a team, they edit it, make sure they send you the edited file back in the CSV format as well. So here we're going to do CSV file. All right, and then we'll just email it back to ourselves, and then we're going to import it into the app. All right, so I'm going to go back to the app. I'm going to close the browser here. So make sure that you download the CSV file onto the phone, of course, and import CSV file. And this time I'm going to proceed to select CSV file. Again, what we did was we saw the example CSV file before. You're only going to need to do that once just to see the template, but in the usual case, you're just going to proceed to select CSV file. Team_sharks simple. All right, that's a CSV file. Tap it. And I forgot to mention something, is that we already have a team named Sharks. All right, so that's a good point here, is that if we have a team name already Sharks, and if you watched the last tutorial for the email address, I put sharks@example.com as well. All right, so here you're trying to import a CSV file of a team that already exists, and the app does allow you to do that. It's just going to update the information. So if you go into the Sharks team now, all right, you should see, there you go, you should see the players from the CSV file. All right, so that removed all those default players. If you watched the previous tutorial, if you create a new team manually in the app, it's going to add these default players, and then you have to, go and edit each of the default players. And that's kind of a process that can be tedious, and that's why I really recommend these CSV files. It's really quick, and the teams can do the work for you. They can fill the CSV files for you, give it to you, and then you just import it to the app. So here we imported a team that already existed, and it's just going to update that team. So that's a good way to update the roster. Let's say as the season goes on, if you get new players, then that's how it's going to update the roster. And again, if you have the same player in the CSV file, then it's not going to override that player or anything. Don't worry about that. It's just going to keep that player in there, okay? And add new players if you have new players, or delete players that don't exist anymore on the team. Okay, so let's make a new team. All right, let's make a new team, and I have some CSV files kind of already here, but we have a team. Let's say let's import a team called Bears. All right, Team Bears, and just wait for it a bit. And here, now we have a new team called Bears. Click into there, and we can see the default roster there that was filled in the CSV file. So we can assume, let's say we have a Team Bears that emailed us the CSV file. We just imported it in, and there you go. We have all the players. All right. So there you go. So in this tutorial, I showed you how to import a team using CSV files, which I highly recommend if you're going to be doing leagues with many teams and many players. Okay, so with that said, I appreciate your time. In the next tutorial, I'll show some more advanced cases of importing zip files. All right, zip files which contain multiple teams and even, let's say, game schedule, and the information about the league itself, for example, what days you play on, and so on. Okay, so with that said, I appreciate your time, and see you next time.